Well, first I would like to start by saying that I actually want to dedicate this research to my dad, who died 2 years ago, and a little bit later you will understand why. My name is Anna Kennedy, as you can see, and my teaching career started a long time ago in 1994 in Moscow, my hometown, where I was teaching EFL, English as a Foreign Language. But then with my relocation to England 15 years ago, I started teaching ESOL, first at Thames Valley University and later at the Workers' Educational Association. And I have been now with the Workers' Educational Association for 9 years. About 5 years ago, I really felt that I was fed up with ESOL. It was so boring. I was so tired of teaching the same stuff over and over and over again. And I even started thinking about changing my job. And then I remembered something from my childhood. I started learning English when I was 8 years old. And my teacher at school was okay, but her classes were a little bit boring. And my dad, I really struggled with English, I didn't like it. And my dad decided to help me. His English wasn't that good, as I understand now. But what he did, he decided that every weekend we would read some books. And he brought some books and we started reading. And to start with, it was like a chore for me. It was really hard work. Every other word I had to look up in the dictionary, and he couldn't help me much because he didn't know those words. And I really did not enjoy it. And then we worked out a strategy. We decided that we are not going to look up those words. And we will just carry on reading as long as we understand what is going on. And only if a word prevents us from understanding what's happening, then we would look it up. And we started really enjoying reading, and we got so much into it, we read so many books, and this is how I learned English. And now going back to my time when I got fed up with ESOL, I actually thought, what if I try this same method with my learners? And I started the book club. So I've been running the book club for 5 years now. And I got really interested in the benefits of teaching literature to speakers of other languages. And when I received an email from my manager saying that there is a possibility of doing a research, I actually already had a research question in my head, and I also had a research answer in my head. What I didn't have was the proof and evidence. So this year I devoted to collecting that proof and evidence for something that I already knew worked. I did some reading, and I found out that most of the research in the benefits of teaching literature to ESOL and Functional English students mostly concentrates on improving their vocabulary, improving their sentence structure, improving their even spelling, but very little has been said about how reading literature can emotionally engage people in the process of learning a foreign language. And so I decided to choose this as my research topic. And I found a quotation which I thought I would want to prove in the course of my research. So I'm going to just a minute. So I got lost in my own. Oops.
groups.
Okay, sorry, that is the quotation. So I'm going to read it to you. Engaging imaginatively with literature enables learners to shift the focus of their attention beyond the more mechanical aspects of the foreign language system. So learners become emotionally engaged and they stop paying attention to the difficulties of learning the foreign language, and their desire to understand helps them overcome the mechanical, the obstacles of learning the language. So I thought I would put this quotation into test, and then I had to decide how I'm going to measure emotional involvement. So now I've got this little interactive part of my talk. How, if you were facing a question like that, how would you measure someone's emotional engagement in the process of, for example, learning a foreign language?
You could design a question.
Mm-hmm.
Just a question prompt, how do you feel about something,
Mm-hmm.
and then a later one, I suppose, and do a comparison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that, yeah. Anything else?
You have a Likert scale kind of question where they rate themselves?
When they...
A Likert scale, so on a scale from 1 to 10, how would you measure your, I know you could design a question.
Yeah, possibly, yeah. How they feel about a book or about a class or about...
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Any other?
Observation.
Observation. Mm-hmm. Well, I'll show you what... well, first of all, I thought it's very important to actually get to know my learners. And I spent some time doing learner profile. There were 29 learners participating in the research from 2 classes, Entry 3 ESOL and Level 1 Functional English. They're both very high level learners, so 27 female and 2 male. And there are some quite interesting charts here, but I don't want to waste time looking at them for too much. This is countries they come from. They come from 18 different countries. And first languages, as you can see, they speak 15 different languages. The majority of people speak Polish, and then the second most popular language is Arabic. Interesting picture also with, well, I'll just look at this religious background. Nearly half of the learners were Muslim, and then quite a big proportion Christian, and then a few other representatives. I tried to find some connection between learners' education and their reading habits, but unfortunately the group was not big enough for this kind of statistics. So although I did that, I don't think that it's very informative. The research itself had 2 parts to it. The first part was reading these 3 books. I chose those books because 2 of those books I actually read with my father when I was about 10 years old. One is O. Henry short stories, Oscar Wilde fairy tales, and the third book is Roald Dahl, Tales of the Unexpected. So each week learners read 1 story at home. Then I also gave them a questionnaire which they had to fill in as they were reading a book. Then they came to class, and every week for half an hour we discussed this book in class, and then they went home and I asked them to write some reflections. That went really well. That the book club was really popular with both classes, and I noticed that attendance was better on Thursdays and Fridays when I had the book club, because they had something to look forward to, not just doing grammar exercises. these are the questionnaires I gave to them. These examples of 4 questionnaires that they were filling in as they were going along. And then halfway through the research, I had the most unexpected and amazing result. One of my learners came up to me and said, Anna, you know, there is a exhibition going on in Reading about Oscar Wilde, and maybe we should go on it. And I advertised the trip, and both classes went to see the exhibition. The exhibition was about Oscar Wilde and Reading Jail, because I come from Reading, so we went to see the jail where he spent 2 years of his life. Then we went to see the exhibition, and then when we came back after the exhibition, they wanted to know a little bit more about his life. So I brought an extract from his Ballad of Reading Jail. They read the extract, they really liked it. I offered them to learn it by heart, and they did. So that was a really surprising outcome that I did not expect. Something that I did not plan at all. So there's some photographs of the trip. The other important part of the research were the case studies. I selected 4 students from 2 classes, 2 students from entry 3, 2 students from level 1. The reason why I selected those particular people was because they were the ones who, in their questionnaires, so these are the 2 from level 1, and these are the 2 from entry 3. As you can see, this lady is 71 years old. So the reason why I chose those people was because in one of the questionnaires, about halfway through the research, I asked the question, have you read a book in English since the start of the research at home on your own initiative without me telling you to do so? And 4 people said yes. So then I asked them their permission to take their photographs, and I asked them to bring the books that they chose to read. And the 2 people on the top, one read, as you can see, a traditional paper cover, and this one, she read Stephen King on her mobile phone. And these other 2 people, she used Kindle, she read the book. So I was very much amazed. I recorded interviews with them. They are online on this website. So if you click on the picture, it goes to this is the summary of the interview. And if you click on the listen to the interview, then you can actually listen to all the 4 interviews with those students. Especially one learner, this girl from Poland, I had to go to her house to interview her because her son was sick. And after the interview, she brought a whole pile of books, and she said, look, these are all the books that I'm waiting to read. And I was really amazed, and I thought, wow, I have really made a difference to someone's life. So, just talking about the results again. How I'm doing for time, Emma? Okay for time?
It's got 5 minutes.
5 minutes, okay. The results of the interview I collated in this way. These are the quotations from learners' writings, and I chose those particular quotations because I thought that they really show that those learners were emotionally engaged in the process of learning. So if you can see, This one says, hilarious. I had a good laugh while reading the story, laughed out loud. I read it twice and I would like to read it again. Same person writes, Roald Dahl's stories make me feel surprised. They make me believe it is non-fictional and must be happening somewhere around. Some of his stories gave me shock or made me scared and upset in the end. So it's really a great deal of emotional involvement. And then from those writings, if you are interested to explore it at home, then you can actually see, you can actually see those writings in full, scanned. So these are the learners' writings. Not everybody's, but some. So then I thought I need to extract the adjectives that they used to show their emotions as they were reading. And this is the list I made. Hilarious, spiritual, sad, angry, horrible, anxious, funny, interesting, strange, unexpected, heavy, dark, happy, worried, overwhelmed, excited, surprised, scared, upset, frustrated, annoyed, disappointed, prayed. So a great variety of emotions that I could record. And I do think that in my research I have proved the statement that I was going to prove, that reading literature in an ESOL, in a foreign language class, does make people emotionally involved in the process of learning. As for numbers, the final questionnaire, as you can see, showed that out of 29 learners, 100% of learners found lessons more enjoyable. 100% said that reading helped them with their English. 67% were excited to know what happened in stories. But a number that I really like is this one. 37% said that reading in class triggered interest to start reading outside class. So for me, I think that's the most important thing, that I actually have helped those people to get onto the next step. And for me, as a practitioner, this research has been a breath of fresh air. I really enjoyed this year, and for the first time in 9 years that I've been teaching ESOL, I actually looked forward to going to work, because I really wanted to know. I was really looking forward to sharing my ideas about the story with them and comparing our emotions, because you get people from different cultural backgrounds, from different religions, and their opinions about the same story could be absolutely different, and it is so interesting to see what other people think about them. So yes, and it brought me much closer to my students. Last night I received 4 emails from my learners saying good luck with your presentation, and this morning 2 text messages saying the same thing. They actually did participate in it, and they treated it as, you know, it's their research, not just mine. Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, sure.
Well, it's actually a couple of questions. Did you measure the impact on the language acquisition in any way?
No, because this was not part of my research. Because at the beginning I said that, I'll just show you very quickly.
I just wondered if you had noticed any impact.
No, there was an impact, but this was not the question, because there has been a lot of research done on that particular question, and I wanted to do something completely different. So, yeah.
You mentioned ESOL and Functional English. Your presentation mainly focused on ESOL.
No, it's both, 2 classes. One ESOL, one Functional English.
How did you find the Functional English?
They're the same students. Last year they were ESOL, this year they're Functional. It all depends on funding. You see, we have funding for Functional English, we deliver Functional English.
That was my second question, actually. Did you have to get these skills? Sorry. Did you have accreditation at the end of this course?
Yes, we do. Yes, both classes had exams, yes.
So this took up a proportion of it, and the rest you did. Yeah.
Oh, the rest I did the curriculum stuff, yes, of course. Yeah.
How did you manage practically if the students hadn't done the reading for the lesson, or did that not happen?
That happens sometimes. Well, as I said, they're quite high-level students, so I always, apart from giving them the photocopies before, I always emailed them as well, all the stories. So I made sure that the night before they would at least have it, can read it online. Yes, there were some learners who did not read, and they would either not participate, or, because they're quite high level, some of them actually managed to read it at the beginning of the discussion and then catch up with the discussion. Yeah. Okay? Thank you.